Hello, and welcome back to another edition of Maddie's Rap, the show where we rap about things that guys rap about when we're hanging out. I'm your host, author Matt D. Talford, author of a couple of award-winning books. First up, From Fear to Faith, a Survivor's Story, a story which will illustrate to you in vivid, very vivid detail how mindset can help you to overcome the absolute worst of circumstances. Mindset, okay? And maybe we'll be touching on some mindset in today's subject matter. All right, and then there's the wildly popular Stuck in an Elevator, which is a tale of passion and self-discovery that takes place high above the Los Angeles skyline. So, today is Saturday, December 25th. The time is 10:31 a.m. Eastern, and some of you might be saying, Matt, why are you in the office on Christmas working? It's just another day for me. I won't get into that, but I don't celebrate the holidays like I did when I was younger. To me, it's, Merry Christmas to you if that's what you celebrate. And, if you don't, keep doing what you do. I'm in here working because I'm doing what I love right now. Now, so today's subject matter. And by the way, this is not a video for the kiddies. So you may want to tell the kiddies to go play with their toys that they just opened up or whatever. Or I don't know what day you're watching this. So send the kids in another room or send them outside to play or whatever. Whatever. Now, this is a grown and adult conversation. All right. I've gotten a question from several of you, or questions from several of you regarding the subject matter I've published this year that has to do with marriage and why. For example, in June, about 3 or 4 days after my 27th anniversary, believe it or not, I published a video titled 5 Reasons Why Marriage is a Joke. Now, a lot of you looked at me sideways. Some of you said, Matt, I'm not even watching that video. A lot of people who know my wife, they're like, what did his wife say? What is she going to think? Hey, man, if you want to make it to 28 years, you may want to delete that video. First of all, my wife and I, my wife knows me, all right? And she knows I speak my mind, and she knows I typically do my homework before I open up my mouth. And when she watched the video, she had zero problem with it, all right? So let me just say that. My wife trusts me completely. She knows that I'm always going to do the right thing, okay? She knows I am always going to do the right thing. She knows that my intent is always ultimately to do the right thing. Do I drop the football every now and then? What running back doesn't fumble? Every running back has dropped the ball at some point in his career. But the goal is, hey, you know what? You drop that ball, you jump on it, you recover it, you pick it up, you keep driving forward toward the end zone, all right? For those of you that are familiar with American football. I'm going to say American because some of you might be watching this from another country. So anyway, my wife's like, well, he's doing him, she does her. We both came to this earth to do different works, different assignments, whatever, all right? Soul contracts, the life we chose before birth. Check that video out. That video changed my life. It changed the way I look at a lot of things. I saw it back in January, and let me tell you something. Nearly 1 year later, I've experienced immense growth just from listening to the breakdown of what soul energy really is and how eternal and immortal we are. All right, you don't just live one time. And to that end, that's one of the reasons why I'm dropping this video I'm dropping today, okay? Now, for those of you who follow me on my blog, www.mdtalford.com, you know that a couple of weeks back, I published an article titled The Marital Declaration of Independence. I got questions from you guys on that. So here again, you're like, Matt, if you've been married for 27 and a half years, why does it seem that you're attacking marriage? Why does it seem you're attacking the institution of marriage? That's a question that I get a lot, all right? The answer is, I'm not attacking the institution of marriage, all right? I'm not. What I am attacking is what's broken with it. Now, if you don't think marriage is broken here in the West, then you need to look at the marital statistics, okay? Over half of all marriages end in divorce. Why is that? It's because the system itself is broken. Now, where is it broken? It's broken in a number of different ways. Number one, it's broken because your marriage, somehow the state decided it needed to get involved. Hey, we're going to issue you a marriage license. So you signed your name on a marriage license after you say your I do's, and now the state has the authority to dictate to you how this marriage is, or how these assets are going to be divided should your marriage end in a divorce, which is pretty much the undoing of the agreement that the two of you entered into with the state. The state got no business in your business, all right? That's for starters, all right? That's for starters. Now, some of you might say, well, hey, the whole child support thing, listen, I'm not going to talk about that. This isn't the subject matter. I will say that if men were behaving righteously and in accordance with universal law, if you will, then the whole child support thing wouldn't even come into play. But that comes into play because the state has forced a system on you that is not natural. All right, they have forced. What is that not natural system? Monogamy. Now, is there anything wrong with monogamy? No. All right, I'm not here to say that there's anything wrong with monogamy. There's something wrong with forced monogamy. All right, polygyny. In my opinion, is there anything wrong with polygyny? No, not if all parties involved agree. But there's a problem if you force polygyny on me. If you tell me, hey, you can't get, state comes in and say, you can't marry one unless you got two, at least two. Excuse me, I might only want one. You see my problem? You see what I'm going with this? The problem is that the state, and moreover, let's go beyond the state. The church establishment, the worldwide church establishment, spin that however you want, all right? The worldwide church establishment, which by many accounts is not even of God, all right? They forced these rules down to the state, and the state forced them upon you. So who's pulling the strings here? Now, you can, I'm not gonna get into the weeds, all right? Because some of you say, hey, well, the scripture was taken out of context, and this person did that person did that. Listen, if we understood, let's just throw that out and just deal with nature, and then I'm gonna get on off of this subject matter, because it's very touchy, and I've already covered it in those two publications that I told you about. Check out my video, 5 Reasons Why Marriage is a Joke. It's on my YouTube channel. And go to my blog, www.mdtalford.com, and read my Marital Declaration of Independence. And then you'll see what my views are, because those, to me, go together. So check those out. Now, where was I? The state. The state, the church, and taking things out of context or whatever. We're taking, let's take religion, let's throw it out of the, let's just throw it out for a minute. Let's take the whole marriage certificate, marriage license stuff. Let's throw that out for a minute. Let's deal with nature, all right? Land is feminine, all right? Seed is masculine, all right? The term husband in its antiquity was pretty much a word for, it was synonymous with farmer, or one who tilled and plowed the land. Now some of y'all that got your mind in the gutter, get it out. When you hear plow the land, come on y'all. Anyway, get back to my point. A husband was also called a husbandman. More than one husbandman was called husbandmen. Their job, husbandry. Look up husbandry. Husbandry is like, it's an ancient or archaic term for, horticulturalist or whatever. Maybe I'm saying that. You know what? Let's look that definition up. I got my dictionary right here. Husbandry, the care, cultivation, and breeding of crops and animals. Management and conservation of resources. All right. So when we understand the original term husbandry, then we kind of know and what a husbandman was. We can roll that forward into husband. All right. So a husband is one who takes care of land. I just told you land is feminine. That husband disperses seed. Okay. He disperses that seed, and then his job is to make sure that that seed, or the purpose for the dispersion of that seed, be it to grow food or to grow something that's a beautiful garden, he now has to take care of the land in which he dispersed that seed, all right? He's got to keep predators out. If he's trying to grow food, he's got to keep predatory animals and insects out of there so that that food can be brought up, all right? If he's planting pretty flowers or whatever for aesthetic purposes, then he's got to go in there and pull some weeds and all of this. He has to take care of that land, all right? A husbandman is not going to go and disperse seed in land that he's not going to take care of. However, if there is land that he intends to take care of and cultivate, he's going to do his job. Stay with me, all right? Okay? So, bees, okay? Bees. Bees have a job to do. They pollinate plants. They pollinate flowers, okay? So, a bee, he goes, he pollinates this flower, then he goes, he pollinates that flower. That bee's got a job to do. That job is to bring up flowers or fruits and vegetables out of the earth, all right? With no bees, you have no food, okay? with no bees, in effect, the things that come out of the land are not there. Is that to say the land dies? No, the land doesn't die technically. I mean, that land can be, refertilized through acts of God. However, nothing is going to grow unless nothing of fruits, no fruit or vegetables, nothing that creates sustenance is going to grow unless that bee is doing its job. Now, the other thing, when a bee goes and attempts to pollinate a flower that's been pollinated already, he moves on. He's like, no, I can't, that flower's been pollinated. I gotta move on to the next. So he's got a job to do, all right? Now, you can take that and apply it to marriage. Can you take, what happens if you take a bee? Well, no, not what happens if you take a bee. Will you ever see a bee go and pollinate one flower? What happens if you take a bee and put him in a box with one flower? And that bee, make sure he's got air or whatever, but you put that bee in a box with one flower. That bee is eventually going to die, all right? Now, some of you who might be trying to read into this, don't read into it. I'm not saying that men are bees and each of us has a job to do with regards to pollinating multiple flowers. That ain't for everybody. However, to bring this thing back, because again, the goal is to fix something that's broken, forced monogamy creates a marital system that is broken, all right? So this is an attempt to fix that, all right? So when you're going into that, what I'm talking about is, no, this isn't to say that this is for everyone and everybody's got to do that. But when you look at a world where there are more women than there are men, then you got a lottery system if you're born as a female. You're now entered into a lottery system. How many men know good women who are single? And you're like, man, why she ain't got a husband? Well, maybe the guy who would be her suitor is not suitable for her, all right? So, but maybe somebody who is suitable for her is actually in a situation with somebody else, right? We're talking about a ratio of, more women than men. Now, what that ratio is, it's going to be different based on whatever, cultural demographics you want to look at. I think the last time I explored writing an article about this was about 2 years ago, and the census data I looked at that time, and again I was dealing with my own community, the so-called African American community. I hate that term. I don't like the term black, to be honest. I mean, I understand it, but it's a color. It doesn't. Look, go check out my video. What simple bags of flour can teach us about race, and then you'll understand how I feel about the term black. All right. Now, but anyway, I was dealing with my own demographics. So I said, okay, what's the ratio of sisters to brothers in this country? Let me say it like that. All right. And I don't have those numbers in front of me, but I do remember the ratio, and that ratio was about. It wasn't anything like 2 to 1 or anything like that. It was more like 1.5 women to every 1 man in my community, in my demographic, all right? So what happens there? That means by the time you get to 2 men, you got 3 women. Now you multiply that by 2, you got 4 men and 6 women. If it's a 1-to-1, then you got two women and lost the lottery, all right? And that is exponential. It grows exponentially. So before you know it, you got a bunch of women now that have a situation where they cannot have a husband, somebody to cultivate their land, all right, and bring forth fruit the right way. They can't have it. They've lost the lottery. So I'm like, this system of forced monogamy it has created a lottery. It has. And that lottery was not created by God. Some of y'all talk about how much you love the Lord and how Christian you are or whatever, and God is a God of love. Would he create a lottery system? Would he put you in a situation, woman, where your odds, you don't, there's a good chance that you could go your whole life without having. Now, some of you may not want a husband. I'm not talking about those of you. But would he create a system where some of you are born doomed to never have someone, a husbandman, to take care of your land? I'm here to tell you that the answer to that is no. I'm going to go out on a limb and speak for him, if he's in me, right? Because what does the word say? Greater is he that is in me than he is in the world. Who's the he that's in me? I'm not going to get into spirituality. This ain't about to be a spirituality lesson, okay? Y'all know that. Anyway, let me get off of that. My point is, I think I can safely say that God, the creator, the most high, the universe, however you want to spin it, I think I can safely say that he would not put you into a lottery situation. So what does that mean? That means that we're in a situation that is now broken, all right? And this is why a lot of these situations, number one, some of you under this system of forced monogamy are entered into birth in a lottery system where you may not have a suitor, all right? A male suitor. I'm not gonna talk about that other stuff. We ain't talking about the, anyway, let me get off of that. Some of y'all know where I was about to go. I'm not gonna go there. For those of you who don't know where I was about to go, too bad, I'm not going there. Now, maybe in another video, not this one. So, he would not create a lottery system. So, why do you feel like this is important for you to fix, Matt? Well, because look, what did I just promote earlier in this video? That video that I mentioned that I watched back in January, Soul Contracts, the life we chose before birth. If we know that we are souls occupying temporary vehicles, then you understand that the soul itself has no gender. But whatever contract you contract to come to Earth as, you may contract to come to Earth or assignment, pre-birth assignment, whatever you will. If you want to call it an assignment or you want to call it a contract, however you want to do it. When you understand that your soul is eternal, then you understand that there's no way that every life you've ever lived, you've been one gender. One life you may have been a man, one life you may have been a woman. Okay, so that's just facts. You can, and listen, that as a man's man, you don't ever want to even consider yourself. Don't even get me on that, man. Let me just say, y'all go through a lot, ladies. Y'all go through a lot, and I'm happy that I'm a man. Let me say that. Now, and I've heard other women say they're happy that they're women, so we're good. All right. But that being said, what if when I check out of this vehicle and check back into the ether and relax and then get my next assignment is to come back to this earth as the opposite gender. If I don't fix this now, then guess what? I got to come back and deal with what's broken today. And I'm not about that. If I come across something that is broken, that may affect me or may affect somebody, my mother, let me talk about my mother real quick. One of the earliest lessons I received as a child is, hey, you live in this house. Why did you step over that piece of paper? Because I didn't drop it, one of them did. Well, does that make it right? You live in this house. So are you comfortable seeing something in the floor that doesn't belong there, that you have to use your energy to step over? And what are you gonna do? You gonna keep stepping over it? Go back there and pick it up and throw it away. But I didn't do it, I don't care. Leave something better than it was when you found it. That is what she used to drive into us. Leave it better than it was when you found it. And if you can't leave it better, don't make it worse. So that's why I'm doing this. If I got to come back here in another lifetime and be a her, then I don't want to deal with this because it's not fair. If I had a daughter, and I'm just keeping it 100, I would rather my daughter be in a situation with a king who was righteous, who was going to take care of her, and he might have a wife or two or whatever, and because he's not under a system of bondage that says you have to just have one, which creates a situation where if I often say this, the heart works on autopilot. Okay, you can't make your heart start and you can't make it stop. Your heart works on autopilot, right? Physically. Well, guess what? Your energetic heart works the same way. Your heart works on autopilot. You may come into someone else's auric field of their energy and your heart doesn't like that person and you don't even have to say it. Well, you don't even know why you don't like that person. But somewhere between that 4th chakra and that 6th chakra, you're like, yo, that person's energy is not right, all right? You didn't make yourself do that because you didn't even interact with them. It's energy. Well, it's the same way, the opposite. You might come into somebody's auric field and your heart start fluttering and you're like, what is this? Okay, so your heart works on autopilot. So I would, if this man is taking care of his situation and he runs across my hypothetical daughter, I don't have any children right now. He runs across my hypothetical daughter and he's like, hey, you know what? I like you. I like your energy. I like your conversation. They deal with each other a little bit. Hey, you know, we get along great. Now you're forcing him to be in a situation where he's got a great situation already and he has to say, you know what? Wow, I like both of y'all. But man, I can't have you both. So you got to go. Cause I already got this many years and I already got this much time and grade with you. So you got to go so I can have her. Well, you don't even know once you move in with her if you really gonna even like her like that. Now you've thrown this one out. Or B, you're like, you know what? Sorry, I can't. There's no such thing as I can't. There is I will and I won't. So why? So you're in a situation where you have you've been forced by another man or another man's rules that are not yours that says you have to behave in a certain way. You have to do this way. So now you got a system of divorce where people are kicking somebody to the curb because they're familiar and they want something new and exciting. And then they find out what's new and exciting wasn't all that exciting, all that great to begin with. So now they're kicking that one to the curb and going, it's stupidity. You're breaking homes, you're breaking hearts. You're breaking homes, you're breaking hearts. But if you understand that, you know what? Let me see if these, I like this person. Let me see if they get along with my partner here. Because, I like both their company, man. We can have a nice family. But the problem is, you're also in a society where everything has been over-sexualized. All right? And God has already he puts checks and balances in place for everything. So the fact that everything is over-sexualized, that in and of itself is a trap. Why? Because if you take the visuals and the constant bombardment of sexual imagery and suggestiveness into the human spiritual channels, your eyes and ears, I talk about those in a lot of videos. I talk about those in my book, From Fear to Faith, A Survivor Story. If you remove those, what you're left with is the fact that while women can go all day long, men, I like to call men a double-barrel shotgun. You got two good shots in that gun, and then, two good shots in that gun, and then typically after that, you're like, all right, I'm good. I'm good. Most men are, the older you get, you're like, I'm good, and, I don't need to, just give me a single shot musket. It just depends. It depends on where you are in your life, whatever, or what you got going on. But, y'all know where I'm going. I'm trying to keep it a little bit clean for those, nosy behind kids that might trying to see what their parents listening to or watching anyway. I was one of them growing up. Anyway, y'all know where I'm going with this. God already put that check and balance in place, so there's no need to over-sexualize anything because it ain't over-sexualized naturally. Dudes can't go all day long. Ladies, y'all can go all day long if y'all want to. Men, you're not going all day long. You're not. So the thing is, the knock on polygyny, or the knock on not being forced into monogamy, is that, guys, they just want to just have sex with as many women as guys are already doing that. I often say people are who they are and are going to be who they're going to be. All right. So if you're dealing with a guy who was out there in them streets before you married him, chances are good that he's still going to be opportunistic even after you say I do. All right. If you're dealing with a guy who wasn't out there in them streets before you said I do, chances are good he's not going to be out in them streets after. That's not how he's wired. So, but the problem is, a lot of y'all think, okay, I can go get that stud. I can get him. Out of all of these women he's been dealing with, he picked me, and now I'm going to change him. Really? He is who he is. So, this video went a lot longer than I wanted it to. Y'all know this is a running joke now. Every time I say I wanted to be short, it's not. But the point I'm getting to is the system is broken. If you think it's not broken, then you're looking at something wrong. All right. I'm here to tell you that I'm of the strong opinion that forced monogamy are chains of bondage. They're chains of bondage, or is a chain of bondage, or is a group of chains of bondage. That's the English grammar nerd in me coming out. When you're a writer, you're always editing yourself. But anyway, I want to hear from y'all. I don't want to keep beating this drum. It's pretty much done. I know I took you all the way around the block to get you to the house next door. People have been asking me, Matt, why are you, as someone who's been married for 27 and a half years, y'all are great friends. Y'all get along great. You do a lot of great work together. Why are you going in on this? I'm going in on it because it's broken. All right. I just turned 49 earlier this week. Okay. Now, if you can look at it from the standpoint that says, hey, I'm halfway to the century mark. Now, I don't know what was in my soul contract with regards to how many years I'm supposed to spend in this vehicle. That's in your contract too. Some people, you can throw this whole untimely death thing out. I don't like that term. Now that I know what I know about spirituality, you got a contract that says this is how many days you're going to be here. And then you fulfill that contract, and then you go check out. You check in the rest if you're a righteous soul. If you weren't a righteous soul, then it may not be rest for you. I don't know. That's the part I don't know about. Now, do I believe in living one time and you either go to heaven and go to hell after you. No, that doesn't even add up. That don't make sense. All right. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. Okay. It changes. All right. So your soul is eternal. People say, well, we live in to get to eternity. No, you're in eternity right now. Time does not exist outside of this realm. It does not exist. All right. So what is time to an eternal being? I say that, and I've said that in several other videos. So some of you can look at this like, okay, man, he's halfway to 100, halfway to the century mark. My thing is, I gotta leave here and come back again. All right. Unless there's the other side. Now there's this other side. I won't dig too deep into that, but there's some prophecy that says, new energy bodies are going to be granted. In other words, this time bombed or expiration dated flesh suit is going to be upgraded to one that is more eternal. That's prophesied. I'm not going to get into that right now. That's a different lesson. Those of you who are familiar with scripture and study prophecy, you know what I'm talking about. If that happens, then you know what? I'm going to get that upgrade, and then it ain't going to be no, I've got to come back. It's going to be like, all right, I'm here. So anyway, listen, y'all. I hope you like this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. Share it. I want to know from you guys, what do you think? Do you think marriage is broken in this country? And if so, why? I want to hear what your thoughts are on forced monogamy, because again, I said it earlier in this video, there's nothing wrong with monogamy. There's nothing wrong with polygyny. It is when it is forced. All right. You have to do what works for you. All right. Now, another man's rules, your rules may not work for me. I personally do not like a lot of these Greco-Roman rules. I'm gonna put it out there. All right. We know that the Greeks and the Romans were some of the most wicked people and did some of the most heinous things throughout history. So if that offends you and you're of Greco-Roman descent, my goal is not to offend you here. I'm only speaking truth. And no righteous man has ever been offended by truth. If the truth offends you, examine your heart. And you can get that t-shirt at www.talfordarts.com. Listen, guys, tell somebody you love them and mean it. How do you mean it? You show it. And I want you guys to know I love you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your day, whatever day of the week it is. And see you later. Peace.